No. Nope. Absolutely not. There's no way I wrote that. Purple Duck Tuesday? What does that even mean? And why was the duck purple? What happened on Tuesday? More importantly, why did I think future Kyle would know what past Kyle was talking about? Here's another one. Don't forget. That's the note. That's all it says. Don't forget. Congratulations, past Kyle. I forgot. Another one. Idea for podcast. Fantastic. The idea? Not included. Apparently, I wanted to make brainstorming a scavenger hunt. Let's see what fresh disaster the committee has sent me today. Committee note number 004. To the acting judge, following several anonymous complaints, the committee has obtained reasonable suspicion that may constitute an active crime scene. Excuse me? The committee formally requests access to the device for investigative purposes. Huh. Denied. Immediately denied. There are things in there that don't even make sense to me. I'm certainly not handing them over to a panel of people who still communicate through inter-office envelopes. Although, now I'm curious. Maybe we should investigate this together. All rise. Court is now in session. Welcome back to Patent Pending, the courtroom where absolutely everything can end up on trial. I'm Kyle Patton, your acting judge. And every week, we take something from everyday life, hear the evidence, listen to the committee's completely unsolicited opinions, and ask the jury, you, to help decide whether today's topic is approved, denied, or pending. Last week, we tackled shopping carts. This week, the defendant is much closer to home. My own notes app. And after opening it for the first time in a while, I'm not convinced I should be allowed unsupervised access to my phone. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the evidence has been recovered. The committee has officially submitted its first piece of evidence. Evidence bag number 1, the grocery list graveyard. Now, I know I'm not alone here. Every single one of us has opened the Notes app to make a grocery list. Milk, bread, eggs, cheese. Pretty normal. But here's the problem. We never delete them. We just leave them there. Forever. And at this point, my Notes app isn't organized. It's layered. It's like an archaeological dig. You start with this week's grocery list. Scroll a little. Now you're looking at a camping checklist from last summer. Scroll again. A Christmas shopping list. And again, a list of movies I swore I'd watch. Spoiler alert, I didn't. Another scroll. Apparently I was going to learn guitar. That's news to current Kyle. Here's one. Costco. That's it. Just Costco. Was I making a shopping list? Planning a trip? Warning myself? I'll never know. And why do grocery lists slowly evolve into something completely different? It starts innocent enough. Milk, bread, chicken. Then halfway down, call mom. Below that, podcast idea. And below that, figure out why the washing machine makes that noise. At some point, the grocery list just becomes your brain dumping everything before it escapes forever. Oh good, the committee has completed its first examination. Committee Note 005. Following inspection of the evidence bag number 1, the committee has determined the acting judge currently possesses 11 grocery lists. Only 11? Honestly, I thought it was more. 3 contain identical items, 2 appear to be abandoned midway through, 1 contains only the word bananas written 3 separate times. I don't remember writing that. But I also don't have a defense. Maybe I really needed bananas. Maybe I bought them. Maybe I forgot them. The evidence is inconclusive. Here's the thing about grocery lists. They're little snapshots of your life. Some remind you of holidays. Some remind you of trips. Some remind you that you were absolutely convinced this was the week you were finally going to start eating healthier. Then somehow, cookies ended up on the list. Not because they were planned, but because they were standing in the aisle looking at you. The jury understands. Don't pretend you don't. So, members of the jury, I have a question for you. How many grocery lists are currently sitting in your Notes app? Be honest, because if your answer is just one, the committee would like to congratulate you on being significantly more organized than your acting judge. Personally, I'm keeping mine. Not because I need them, but because I'm currently building a museum. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we've moved beyond grocery lists. The committee has opened evidence bag number 2. And honestly, I wish they hadn't. These are the notes that made perfect sense for about 30 seconds, then vanished completely into mystery. Here's one. Purple duck. Tuesday. Still no answers. Still no clue. If anybody listening knows what I meant, please let me know. Because I'd genuinely like to solve this case. Here's another. Check the thing. What thing? There are so many things. That note has somehow managed to be both urgent and completely useless, which is impressive. Oh, this one's even better. Talk to Mike. Which Mike? I know at least 4 Mikes. Did I ever talk to him? Did he need something? Was I supposed to apologize? Mike, if you're listening, I hope everything worked out. Then you find the notes that sound like the beginning of a brilliant idea. Podcast segment. That's it. Apparently, past Kyle assumed future Kyle would finish writing the rest. Spoiler alert, future Kyle is just as confused. Here's one. Remember this. I didn't. Mission failed. Oh, good. The committee has reached a conclusion. Committee Note number 006. After reviewing evidence bag number 2, the committee has determined the acting judge frequently communicates with himself and is exceptionally poor at leaving context. I object. Actually, no, that's fair. The committee attempted to reconstruct the meaning of the note reading Purple Duck Tuesday. 3 investigators resigned during the process. That seems dramatic. Although, I guess I understand. The committee has now labeled this note an unsolved incident. That's probably for the best. You know what I think happened? I had one of those moments where an idea hit me like lightning. You know the feeling. You're driving, you're in the shower, you're walking through the grocery store, and suddenly you think you've just had one of the greatest ideas in human history. So you panic. You pull out your phone, you type 3 words, because you think, oh, that's enough. I'll definitely remember what that means. Then 2 weeks later, you read it back. And it looks like it was written by someone trying to communicate through a fever dream. That's the trap. The idea isn't the problem. The confidence is. Past you has way too much faith in future you. Past you thinks, he'll know exactly what I mean. Future you opens the note and says, I have absolutely no idea who wrote this. And the worst part, you're the same person. So if you've ever opened your notes app and stared at something you wrote and questioned your own sanity for about 5 seconds, congratulations. The committee would like to inform you you're in excellent company. The committee has now opened evidence bag number 3. And based on the weight of this thing, I'm guessing it's full of terrible decisions. Ah, here we go. The $1 million ideas. You know the ones. Those moments where your brain convinces you, this is it. This is the idea that's going to change everything. So you grab your phone as fast as you can. You don't have time for details, just enough words to remind yourself later. Because surely there's no way you'll forget something this brilliant. Then you read it back 3 weeks later. Podcast, but different. Different how? Different from what? Different for who? Apparently past Kyle thought future Kyle was a mind reader. Spoiler alert, he's not. Here's another. Business idea. That's it. Just business idea. No explanation, no notes, no follow-up. For all I know, I invented the next billion-dollar company. And then immediately lost it because I couldn't be bothered to write one more sentence. Here's my favorite part about those ideas. When you write them, they feel incredible. Your brain is firing on all cylinders. You've already pictured interviews, success, awards, maybe a documentary someday. Then you wake up the next morning, read the note, and realize your revolutionary idea was basically, what if coffee, but bigger? Oh good, the committee has thoughts. Committee note number 007. Following the examination of evidence bag number 3, the committee has identified 23 ideas classified as potentially brilliant. Well, that's encouraging. Unfortunately, none of those include enough information to determine what any of them actually are. That's less encouraging. One note simply reads, Duck Lawyer. Objection. I refuse to answer questions regarding Duck Lawyer. That's protected by attorney-client privilege. Also, I honestly kind of want to know what Duck Lawyer was supposed to be. Here's the funny thing. I don't think the Notes app is where the best ideas live. I think it's where we catch them before they disappear. It's like trying to catch fireflies. Sometimes you catch one, sometimes you end up putting in an empty jar. Sometimes you catch one and forget to label the jar and spend the next 6 months wondering why you wrote Purple Duck Tuesday. You know what's even worse? The notes start with, don't forget to, and then end. That's it. The whole note. Apparently past me got distracted, while reminding future me not to get distracted. That's actually kind of impressive. So members of the jury, I need your help. What's the strangest thing you've ever found in your Notes app? Not the most embarrassing, just the one that makes absolutely no sense anymore. I might finally stop feeling like the only person whose Notes app looks less like productivity and more like a bunch of unsolved mysteries. The court will now take a brief recess while the committee attempts to recover from reviewing my Notes app. Early reports suggest they're doing about as well as you'd expect. We'll be right back. And while the court takes a quick recess, if you are enjoying Patent Pending, don't keep this case a secret. Whether you've been here since case file 001 or this is your very first hearing, you can help grow the courtroom by following the show, leaving a review, and sharing your favorite verdict with someone who needs a good laugh. Every week, we tackle the questions nobody asked us to answer. Is it approved? Is it denied? Or is it forever left pending? And don't forget, you are the jury. Your comments, your votes, and your ridiculous stories might end up in a future case file. If you want your opinion heard, follow us at your favorite podcast platform and join the conversation. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, Discord, or Facebook at Quacktastic Studios. All right, now that the judge has had enough coffee, court is back in session. Let's get back to the case. Court is back in session. During the break, the committee asked if I'd be willing to organize my notes app before we continued. I told them that would destroy evidence. Unfortunately, they agreed. Every notes app has them. The notes you absolutely refuse to delete. Not because they're important, because what if they become important someday? You know exactly the kind I'm talking about. A restaurant recommendation from 4 years ago. A movie someone told you to watch. A random phone number with no name attached. A recipe you were definitely going to make, and somehow they've earned permanent residency in your phone. I've had notes that have survived multiple phones. New phone, transfer data. There's your note again. Still contributing absolutely nothing, yet somehow surviving like it's a family heirloom. Here's one, camping stuff. I haven't been camping in years, but apparently I'm emotionally attached to this checklist because deleting it feels wrong. Like the moment I delete it, someone's going to call and say, "Hey, want to go camping?" And suddenly I need to remember tent stakes. Committee Notes number 008. Following review of the evidence bag, number 4, the committee has identified notes dating back several years. Several? That's optimistic. One document appears old enough to qualify as a historical artifact. First of all, rude. Second, they're probably right. The committee recommends deleting unnecessary notes. No. Because the second I delete one, that's going to be the exact one I need. It's the same reason people keep random cables in a drawer. Do I know what this cable belongs to? No. Am I throwing it away? Also no. Because the moment I do, I'll discover it powers something important. My Notes app works exactly the same way. It's not clutter, it's emergency preparedness. You know what's funny? Every once in a while, one of those old notes actually saves you. You'll stumble across something and think, "Oh, that's where I wrote that." And suddenly, every useless note gets a little more credibility. It's like one employee in their office finally doing their job, and now nobody gets fired. So every time I think about cleaning my Notes app, I end up making another note that says, "Organize notes," which then joins them in the pile. It's the productivity version of buying another storage bin because your storage bins are full. The system has become the problem. Members of the jury, I have one final question before closing arguments. How many notes are sitting in your phone? Not because you need them, but because you're afraid of needing them someday. And be honest, because if the answer is too many, the committee would like to remind you, you're among friends. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we've heard the evidence. We've examined grocery lists that should have been deleted years ago. We've uncovered mysterious notes that even their author can't explain. We've discovered business ideas that may have changed the world. If only I'd written down literally one more sentence. And somewhere, somehow, the mystery of Purple Duck Tuesday remains unsolved. At this point, I don't think we're ever getting answers. And honestly, I'm okay with that. Final committee note. Following a complete forensic examination of the acting judge Notes app, the committee has reached its official conclusion. The Notes app is hereby declared an active disaster area. Fair. However, the committee also recognizes the Notes app serves as an important public service by preventing thousands of random thoughts from escaping forever. You know, I wasn't expecting the committee to make a good point today. But I'll allow it. Members of the jury, the court finds the Notes app pending. Not approved and definitely not denied. But pending. Because yes, it's chaotic. It's disorganized. It makes absolutely no sense half the time. But that's kind of the point. It's not supposed to be polished. It's where ideas go before they become something. It's where reminders land before they're forgotten. It's where random thoughts live until they either become useful or stay wonderfully weird forever. Court is adjourned. You know, for all the jokes we've made today, I think everyone's got a place like this. Maybe it's a notebook. Maybe it's sticky notes all over your desk. Maybe it's the voice recorder on your phone, or maybe it's your Notes app. A place where ideas don't have to make sense yet. A place where you don't have to worry about spelling, grammar, or whether anyone else will ever read it. Maybe that's why we never really clean it out. Because it's buried between the grocery lists, the half-finished reminders, the whatever Purple Duck Tuesday was supposed to mean. Those are little pieces of our lives. Some become podcasts, some become projects, some become stories we'll tell years later, maybe. And some stay exactly as they are. Little reminders of who we were on an ordinary Tuesday when an idea seemed important enough to save. Maybe that's enough. Thank you for spending part of your day with me. If today's case reminded you of your own Notes app, I'd love to hear about it. What's the strangest thing you've ever found in there? You can share it on our social media or in the comments. You can find us at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or Discord at Quacktastic Studios. Who knows, it might end up as evidence in a future case. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And remember, the court is always accepting new cases. I'm Kyle Patton, and this has been Patent Pending. Oh, one more thing. Looks like the committee sent one more final memo. The committee has completed a preliminary investigation into the next week's case. Case file 003. Is Monday really the villain? Early findings suggest Monday has retained legal counsel. Smart move, because next week it's going to need it.